Hey everyone. I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Several years ago, after our little boy Skylar was diagnosed with leukodystrophy, I was besides myself, in pain, in fear. And I went to go to sleep next to my son. And I wasn't mad at God. But in a sense, I knew that I wouldn't wake up because that's how much pain I was in. So in a sense, I was giving up the ghost. And that night, I had a dream. And in that dream, I was looking for my son and my husband. And I saw this long rectangular red house with 3 doors. And I went to the right door, the furthest right door. And I opened it and I went inside and there was no one there. But I had complete peace inside this place. And then suddenly the dream shifted and I was inside of a hospital. And I was standing in front of a doctor and I was pissed. And I was asking this doctor where my son was and where my husband was and how was he going to help my son. And the doctor seemed to be ignoring my questions. And then I saw a whole bunch of people coming into the hospital on stretchers. They didn't have any blood on them, but they were in agony. And then the doctor just walked away from me. And I felt helpless. And I went into a waiting room and I sat down on a chair. And I was looking at a white wall in front of me. And all of a sudden, a white ball of light appeared on the wall in front of me. And it started moving up the wall. And as it did, it became larger and larger. And then suddenly, it turned into a huge rainbow cross. And the Lord spoke to me. And he said, "Don't pay attention to anything you see going on around you. Just look at me." And then suddenly, I was inside of the same red house. And I was led to a basket of seeds that were overflowing. And I couldn't wait to plant them. And I had a sense of purpose and destiny and joy that I've never felt in this life. And I share that with you now because part of the reason for my silence lately is the Lord has been showing me things in dreams that are tied and connected to that dream. And one of the dreams he gave me, first of all, I want to mention many years ago, even before this started with my son, with his diagnosis of leukodystrophy, I was asking the Lord to use me for healing, especially for children with disabilities and autism, because it broke my heart and it pissed me off. And I was crying out to him, "Here I am, God, send me, I will go." And I had a vision of the rapture, and I saw people looking up at the sky, full of joy, smiling, all in white. And they started moving in a spiral circle. And as they did, they lifted up off the ground and became white doves. And since that moment, the Lord gave me the gift of prophecy, even though I wasn't asking for that gift. I was asking for the gift of healing. Oh, recently, the Lord gave me a dream. And in the dream, I saw different sections of sandboxes. And in each sandbox, there were children. Some of them had deformities. Some of them had autism. And many of them had their hands and their wrists zip-tied behind their backs. And I was pissed. And I cut them free. And then right after I cut them free, I was walking along in the desert. And there were all these booths where you could buy gifts. And I was giving gifts to all these children. And just a few nights ago, I had another dream. And in the dream, I had this property, and it wasn't where I live now, but it was a different property. And I had enormous fruit trees with all ripe fruit on them. There were 2 different types of apples, pears, and avocados. And I was inviting people over to take as much fruit as they wanted. And at the end of the dream, my old Jewish friend, who is not a believer, showed up. And she had a smirk on her face. And she was planning on stealing the fruit. And I believe that represents the law. And those that profess to be born again, that don't believe in the fruits of the Spirit, the gifts of the Spirit, and they poo-poo them. And they think that they're not for this time. And that is a lie from the pits of hell. The Lord is about to give those gifts out. And for whoever is willing, He will give those gifts to you. And just ask Him. But right now, and for a while, I've been in the waiting room in that hospital, waiting for the Lord to use me for His glory and His purposes, to set the children free, to take back territory that the enemy has stolen, for the glory of God, and for whole families to come to believe in Jesus. He is so beautiful. He is so holy. He is so good. Always. And no matter what the devil throws at you, God always uses it for His glory. Believe it. The devil is a liar. And he wants to stop you He wants to distract you. He wants you to believe you can't be used by God. Why do you think we're here? For such a time as this. That's why. Where is your focus? Are you going to let the devil keep distracting you from who God has called you to be for His glory and His purposes on earth as it is in heaven? The time has come for us to stand in His promises and His faithfulness. He is faithful even when we're not. Do you believe that? Because I do. He uses the broken for the greater glory of God. Behold, He is doing a new thing. Will ye not know it? Don't pay attention to anything you see going on around you. Just look at Jesus. He who has called you is faithful. Don't listen to the lies of the enemy anymore. Don't let him steal from you anymore. He is a defeated foe. He's under your foot. Here we are, God. Send us. We will go.